Hello everyone, it is your lovely host the Gaming Weasel, and in today's video I'm going to be showing you guys how to mod your Rhino and play your Rhino correctly inside a steel path in 2023 and making him basically invincible, gaining 1 million iron skin and making it more useful with good weapons, operator abilities and also arcanes and good mod combos and ability combos. So without any further delays, let's get into iron skin. What is this ability? This ability is gonna allow you to become invincible and resistant to knockdown or stun effects or anything whilst your iron skin is active. Now your iron skin has a certain percentage and a certain stack. So how does the calculation look like? Sadly we do have to cover a little bit of maths, but hold on there, I'll show you how to make that 1 million overguard. We have the base power strength 1200, this always stays the same, never changes, plus 2.5 times your base armor, for me 653 times 324%, which is your power strength, and that is gonna total out at 9177 total armor for my iron skin, which is good for normal star chart, but we want to go into steel path. So what we're gonna do is slap on the ironclad charge augment. This augment is gonna allow you to gain 50% of your power strength for your armor, or I guess a percent increase for your armor, and so per enemy 50%, but if your power strength is 200% or above, you're gonna get the better buff, which is of course 100% per enemy. So what is going to happen is that 10 enemies getting hit by you are gonna get you to 100% per enemy, totaling out of course at 1000%. So what you're going to do is come back to the previous one. What you're going to do is 653 base armor, so your base armor plus 1000%, for me totaling 6530 times, in the past calculation for iron skin 2.5 times again 324% power strength, and then we total out at 53,000 iron skin. Now with those numbers we are pretty good and pretty set. We know what we need to change, and that is of course your power strength and also your armor. Those are the two main factors for making Rhino incredibly good, and let's get straight into that. Mod section, quickly going to show it for you right now. Basically, what is going to increase your power strength even more? Well, first of all, growing power. Then coaction drift is gonna give you an extra 15% extra effectiveness for your aura, and that's gonna be 35% when your growing power does activate. And what happens next? Of course, we do have Arcane Tanker. This is gonna increase your armor by 1200 for 10 seconds, for 50 seconds, for 50 seconds, and whilst this lasts, you have more armor, which of course gives you even more iron skin. Now, everything else needs to be here. Blind, transient fortitude, blind rage or transient fortitude is incredibly good. You need that on here. And then umbral fiber and umbral intensify is definitely a mod that you do need, because increasing base armor and umbral intensify increasing your base power being really good. Archon shards are another option. I do have one Archon shard that increases my power strength by 15%, the Tau forged one, so that's why my power strength is at 324. Also, Arcane Tanker can be replaced with Arcane Guardian. I just prefer Arcane Tanker because it is a guaranteed buff. I don't have to rely on enemies or anything outside of basically me, and you can deploy Archguns in Steel Path, so that's pretty easy. And also, Molten Augmented is pretty good, but it's not going to be as good as Arcane Tanker or Guardian in my opinion. But let's move on to a little bit higher numbers still, but we're not gonna bore you with a lot of calculations here because we don't need that. Basically, another ability that is going to be useful against, or I guess instead of Stomp, which nobody's gonna use honestly, so Stomp, get that thing out of here. Some abilities, Larva and Snare, are pretty good abilities, crowd controlling abilities, allowing you of course with your ironclad charge to hit more enemies at once. Keep in mind that when you hit an Eximus unit, you're going to stop dead in your tracks and your bonus is not going to be that good, but you have Larva and Snare, which is going to help you get enemies much closer and at least guarantee you a little bit more of your armor. Then the third ability that I recommend is going to be Parasitic Armor. Now with Parasitic Armor, basically what happens is you get a certain percentage of your shields converted, actually all of it converted into your armor. So my base shields are 1410. That is going to be times my power strength, and then what we're basically going to do is, instead of us having 653 base armor, we have now 5221, which is changed in the iron skin of calculation, and that's going to reward us with 42,000. So basically you add on shrapnel to that, you have 423,000, so we're halfway there. So what is going to help you out even more? You do have to keep in mind, growing power can activate and can be 34%, can make a big difference. Keep in mind also what can happen is you may be using and hitting more enemies with your ironclad charge, and you may be getting more through that. So basically you always have to keep in mind that you have all these abilities and these mods active, not active, and be sure to have all of them active, because as we said, we don't have calculations for all of the things, so Arcane Tanker's not calculated and everything else, just because that would be too much maths in one video. But also, what you can do, and what's really good on Rhino, that he has Roar, increasing the damage of your weapons. So what other ways can you drag more enemies in? Let's focus on that for a little bit. First of all, Arcane Anomaly or Magus Anomaly is incredibly good at dragging enemies. Drops in a tear, you drop there, and then enemies whoosh to that one position, you run through them, and then you get loads of percentage. But you also, as I said, have Lava and Snare, so those are pretty good options as well. Now, you can use Parasitic Armor, as I said. That is if you honestly don't really need 1,000 or actually 1 million iron skin stacks, but Parasitic Armor is definitely an option. Now, the other abilities, you can definitely test them out and maybe leave them in the comment section down below. And everything else is on personal preference. Weapons, personal preference. I use the Proposed Ceranos, I use the Prisma, what's it called? The Argon, the Angstrom, sorry. And yeah, basically, weapons, personal preference. But nonetheless, that is how you make Rhino incredibly good in Warframe and survive basically anything. This has been your lovely host, the Gaming Weasel, and I will see you guys on the next one.